gentlemen, we are here live, and we are so excited to have from the lovely state of Arizona. All right, Alyvia McConnell, welcome to the show. All right, and you have such a great story because you're still relatively new. You're already climbing. Like we did the podcast. What 9, 10 months ago or something like that. It was a while
It
ago,
wasn't
right?
that long ago. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And I feel like a lot has happened since then.
And a lot has happened, especially you're standing and where you are. You're climbing the ranks. So, well, first off, tell them a little about yourself. How long you've been doing this? All that good stuff, please.
Okay. So it's almost been exactly 3 years. I joined Berkshire Hathaway fresh out of real estate school in July of 23. And then I kind of did it part time for like a year. I was working bev cart on a golf course in Rio Verde. And so I was kind of getting a feel for things. I got my license because I wanted to be able to represent myself when I purchased my first home. So that's why I got my license. I didn't know that it would lead to a full career. And then in the next summer of 2024, I started doing it full time. It was kind of a blessing in disguise. I wasn't really ready yet to make the jump to full time, but I traveled to Asia for a month and a half. And when I got back, I no longer had my job as Bev Cart Girl. So, so then I was like, well, I guess I better do it full time and, gotta do something to pay the bills. And so anyways, I jumped into it and yeah, here we are. So now it's been like 2 years of full time. And it's been super fun. It's been super exciting. It definitely is a lot of work in the beginning, but I feel like I'm finally getting to a point where it's snowballing, right? And so now I'm getting referral deals from past clients and the things are building off each other, which it took a really long time to get here, but it's super exciting to have that momentum now.
Yeah, I love that. I'm just going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say because I play golf, and I can
Yeah.
tell as a cart girl, I'm sure you did extremely well with your bubbly personality. I'm sure you had all kind. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you made really good money as the cart girl.
Yeah, that was part of the issue is that I was making good money doing that. And so I was like, am I ready to do real estate full time and go from making good money to, kind of having to start over and not have a great paycheck for a while? But I got my first deal from a member that I met out on the golf course where I was working. And so it was kind of a cool first story. And he was the youngest member to buy in the community. And so it was fun. We both kind of got to help each other out and they were super supportive of, they knew it was my first deal. And it was a cool full circle moment. And then, yeah, now I've branched out. For a while I was kind of focusing on this community because I knew all the members and I moved from Washington State to here, and so I didn't know too many people in Arizona. And so the members out here at the golf course were just my people, right? They were my main sphere in Arizona. But since then I really dialed in focusing on my Washington sphere, and a majority of my deals right now are just people moving from out of state to Arizona. So that's been cool too, to focus on that side of things as well.
Well, it's very cool. Like and first off, that's such a great story. I love when you see somebody young like yourself jump in. Probably that trip to Asia, right, was awesome. And not only that, it was the catapult because they fired you while you were gone. All right,
Yeah.
the jerks. But it was the best thing that ever happened to you because it made you jump in. And since you've jumped in, I mean, I have the reports right here. You're doing incredibly well. And it doesn't hurt that you're in Arizona because people from California, people from Washington, people from Oregon, because of the tax differences, especially Washington with the new stuff they're implementing. I bet you there's a whole bunch of people who can't wait to get out of that state.
Yeah, the politics and the rain. I mean, that's why I moved to Arizona, was because of the rain. I couldn't stand it anymore, and I just needed out. But a ton of people are like, "Yeah, it's time to get out." So it's been super fun. I have one very close family friend that they purchased a place here and they're building, and they moved from Washington, and then they've referred me several other clients since then, and I'm so grateful for them because it's like a constant flow of Washington clientele, but it's been really fun too to kind of build our community of we all get along because we're all from the same place and experience the same thing and want it out. So that's
Okay,
been fun too.
cool. Cool.
Yeah.
So, and are you wearing green because you're a Seattle Seahawk fan as well?
No, I'm not a sports
Oh,
girl, unfortunately.
oh, okay, cool.
I just like the
I
color
thought you were
green.
trying to rub it in since I'm a Patriots fan. You know, they just beat my team in the Super Bowl.
No,
I'm
no.
only kidding. All right, well, tell us. So tell us about your journey. So you started, and then you got kind of in gear almost immediately, right? You had that one deal, but tell us a little
Yeah.
about the progression.
Yeah. Okay. So I had that first deal, and that's when I was still doing that. All happened while I was still doing BevCart, and then things were kind of slow. And to be honest, I wasn't giving real estate my full effort, and I wasn't sure where to start. It's overwhelming in the beginning to be like, how do I start this whole new business while you're also learning how to be a real estate professional, because there's so much to learn in the very beginning as well. And obviously I'm constantly still learning things, right? But in the very beginning, it's so overwhelming because you feel like you don't know anything. Real estate school doesn't really actually teach you anything. So it's kind of a start from square one. And then on top of that, meet people that actually want to buy and sell. And coming from a state where I then knew no one when I moved here, had to kind of build the community and the people I want to invest in to try to, grow my business. And then on top of that, try to do that and be able to also survive on minimal income while you're doing it, because it takes so much time and investment in the beginning. And so it was very overwhelming, and I didn't really know where to start, but I knew that I was good interacting with people, and I really like the face-to-face interaction. And so I started doing open houses, which it's so funny looking back on it now because I was terrified to do open houses, like dreaded them. I knew that instead of door knocking or cold calling, I knew open houses would be the easiest for me to interact with people. But I still was terrified to do them. And so it's just funny because I had to really talk myself into doing them. And now obviously it's just second nature. It's easy to do. Um, but that's how I started growing my business is I committed to at least once a week, I would do an open house. And then while I was at the open house, I would film videos or content or something to post on my Instagram. So I was that was my dedicated time to try to meet clients if they came into the house and I could interact with them, but then also start posting and trying to interact with that sphere that was outside of Arizona, because otherwise I didn't really have a way to stay top of mind with people besides the social media aspect of things. So I started doing that consistently. And then I think the next deal after the deal I had out of the golf course came from a referral from a friend from Washington, the same family friends that keep sending me people. They sent me this guy, and he bought a piece of land in a community called Eagles Nest in Fountain Hills. And
Oh, that's
from
gorgeous.
yes, it's a great area. And I was like, oh, I love this community. And so from that, I sent out a bunch of mailers and flyers to the community. And then from that, I actually got a listing lead on a multi-million-dollar house. And so that then got me going. I was like, okay, that worked. And so then I started doing email, just like monthly neighborhood reports and sending out emails. And I got a different person in the same Eagles Nest community that reached out and said, basically his land wasn't selling and he wanted help selling it, and his contract was currently listed, but he wasn't happy with how his realtor was performing. And so we stayed in touch. He reached back out once his contract expired, and I helped him list that. And then from that, he helped me list one of his houses in Adero Canyon, which is also in Fountain Hills. And that led to that was my first house listing. And we closed the spring for 1.6. And so that was super exciting it was free resources to send out the neighborhood reports, and I got a, multi-million dollar deal from it. Right. And so that really, I was like, okay, the work paid off. Right. That just took time. It didn't even take money to do. and then I continued to do open houses and get clients from the open houses, and it all just kind of snowballed. And now the people that I met from doing the open houses have closed their deals, and now they're referring me their friends and family. And so it, it just was so overwhelming in the beginning because it's like, where do you even start? But I knew that I couldn't put all of my eggs in one basket. So I was like, okay, I'll do the open houses, I'll do some mail marketing, I did the social media, and from all of those things, I've gotten, I would probably say, equal amounts of clients from each avenue that I've taken. I just closed on a deal last week from someone that reached out on Facebook that saw I had mutuals with some of our friends, and he is in the Air Force and was moving from Italy back to Arizona and needed a place. And so we did it all over FaceTime. He purchased the house and he hasn't even moved in yet. Fingers crossed he actually likes it. um, but it's been super cool. Like I mean, he didn't know me personally, but he just saw that I had mutuals on social media and saw my account. And so it's cool to have people trust me and know, the connections is all making the big difference, right? So
Yeah.
it's been
No,
super exciting.
it's so good, Olivia, to hear you say, to give that, that shout out to the neighborhood reports, and it was a multi-million-dollar listing
Yeah.
from it, because the
Yeah.
neighborhood report that, like you said, is free. It just takes your time to set up.
Yeah.
Looks good. The marketing is incredibly well. The information is completely accurate. It goes into
Yeah.
MLS. It's amazing, and I'm
Yeah.
shocked that more of our agents don't use that.
I agree. I tell people, so I have a friend that I just had join. I convinced her to come over to our brokerage, and she's like, okay, where do I even start? Because she's new and her brokerage wasn't really helping her get going with things. And so I'm all excited because I want to see my friends succeed, but also excited because I know what it's like in the beginning and it's overwhelming. And it's exciting to be able to share things that actually have worked, because I feel like when I joined, I didn't even know where to start, and then everyone has different pieces of advice, but it's like, okay, what's really going to work for you? And I think when in the beginning, when you're nervous to talk to people and you feel like you don't know what you're doing, the neighborhood reports, you don't have to know what you're doing at all, to be honest. You just put in an email and it gets sent out to everyone. And I think a big part of the business is when you're first getting going, it really is like fake it till you make it. Like you gotta put yourself out there, and when you don't know, when things come up, I think it's important to be like, you know what, I let me get back to you on that. I have a huge team backing me and I have all the support, and we'll figure this out together. And I think most people are understanding of that because they just like to see someone who is motivated and hungry to do business with you, And so even if you don't know everything, I think it's important to still just give it your all and be honest with people. Um, yeah,
No, I love it too, and I love it how the first deal they knew that you were new, and they helped you along, and that's because
yeah,
they could sense your honesty. You're a very, I would say, upfront person.
yeah,
And they could say, you know what, let's help her get into this, and I think people, they can sense that, they can sense your way of being. You're
yeah,
authentic, you're real, you're being honest with them, right? So hey, look, when I started, I was the only person in my office in their 20s or 30s. The closest person to
really.
me, yeah, was that. Now this was 41 years ago. Remember? Okay, so, but they used to call me the kid in my office. That was my name. Hey, look, it's the kid. What are you doing here? Are you lost? They used to make fun of me because they were all like my grandparents' age.
Yeah,
Back then, the average age of a realtor was about 65.
yeah.
Now it's still about 58. But now we have a
Is
whole
it really
bunch of
that high?
young. It really is that high, yeah. We have a whole bunch of young people like yourself coming in and knocking it out of the park. And I think, look at your combination of active open houses and Instagram videos that you've got outside your comfort zone to do, and now they're like second nature to you.
Yeah. That's the thing, is in the beginning, I was terrified. I had to force myself to do those things. Like I seriously, I wouldn't do them. And so I would write down in a journal, I was like, this is what I need to do. And I made myself do them and check it off, because otherwise I just would sit there and I was just overwhelmed. I mean, even just figuring out how to put out open house signs, I was terrified. I was like, where do I put them? People are going to look at me weird when I pull over on the side of the road and put out these signs. Like, I was overthinking everything. And then at a certain point, I'm like, what else am I going to do? If this is what I want my career to be, I'm going to have to figure it out. And then after you do a few, with anything, once you do it a few times, you get more comfortable with it. And then you realize you're overreacting and it's not that bad. And then
Such
also, it's also like when you first hold the few open houses and people come in and you don't know what to say and you're just kind of all over the place and you're like, oh, I'm not getting any clients from it. But I think it's the important piece is don't give up, because you will get comfortable with it and you'll learn how to hold them effectively. For me, at the beginning, I was like, okay, like have people sign in and then I'll get their information and then I'll try to follow up with them after. And that never worked. No one wants you to blow up their phones and just get a random message from a realtor that they never really interacted with. So instead, now when I hold my opens, I try to provide value. So I try to engage in conversation with them and figure out what they're looking for. And if they're not looking for anything, if they're just like a neighbor or something else, try to figure out something still that leads to a conversation where then I can naturally get their contact information without it feeling forceful. And try to provide value. Like, oh, you're looking for a larger house. Let me show you some other houses in the neighborhood. Or if they're the neighbor, then, oh, like, has everything been going okay? This house has been vacant. Like, is there anything that you like, just having the conversation with people and making them feel involved. And I become friends with the neighbors on listings that they have no intention of buying or selling, but now I'm friends with their neighbors just because I would see them on a regular basis holding the opens. And so I think it's important to try to show value and that you're an actual human being and not just a salesperson, because no one likes to have sales shoved down their throat. It just doesn't work.
no, yeah.
I
If
mean,
you're
maybe it works for some
obnoxious,
people, not me.
yeah. If you're obnoxiously selling, what you just described is getting in rapport with people. You have to get in rapport. They have to know that you're interested in them, asking questions, digging deeper. I would also use our app and ask them, would you like MLS on your phone? Right. Well, give me your
Yeah,
cell phone number and I'll send it, because that app we have is just like having MLS on your phone. Right now,
yeah,
you have their information because they had to give you their cell phone. Right. But
exactly.
I agree with you. When I teach success series, I teach it like this. An open house is simply an excuse to prospect that turns into a free retail store to collect leads if you do it right. And that
Yeah,
involves making an impression when they come out, asking
yeah,
great questions, digging deep. Where do you live now? What exactly are you looking for? How long have you lived there? Right. And
yeah,
people go, well, I'm only getting nosy neighbors. And I go, and you want every one of those, because
yeah.
nosy neighbors go to work in 2 weeks and get fired, or they get divorced, or somebody dies, or they have to, whatever. Everybody's a
Or they know
suspect in real
friends
estate.
that they want to live next door to them. I mean, you never know circumstances of what people are in. And a lot of times people won't actually be honest with you with why they're there, because they don't want you to force them. They don't want to be forced into, people, I feel like people are more open when they just feel like you're a normal human being and not
Right,
and not trying to be aggressive. And I
right.
know that everyone has
Agreed.
different tactics, but for me, I'm very social people person, and so that's what's worked best for me, right? So
Being
yeah,
authentic is the key. Okay. Well, my
yeah.
favorite question to ask somebody producing like you is, okay, so I'm an agent. I want to take it to the next level or come out of the gate hot. What would be your top three things you would tell them to focus on to be successful in this business?
Okay,
You can look at
my
your notes.
first,
You can look at your
yeah, I was
notes.
gonna say, I thought about this. There's so much advice that I have so much advice I could give, but I think one of the things would be to show people that you're hungry. I think in the beginning, I didn't, I was intimidated because I'm young, I'm new. I think it's different when some people are older and they get into real estate. They don't question your experience because you look like you could have a lot of experience. But when you look young, just like you said, like everyone's calling you kid. Like when you look young, how do you set yourself apart and get people to trust you? And for me, I realized that showing I'm hungry and motivated was a key point that set me apart from other people, because even if they knew I wasn't as experienced as some other agents, they knew I was going to be working harder than the agents that have done it for years, and they just feel like deals just come to them, they're not going to be as motivated to go out there and get your place sold for you. And so it's interesting because I actually had a listing appointment the other day, and she told me she was interviewing other realtors. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I'm glad you are. You need to make sure that you choose someone that's going to work for you and your personalities mesh and all that. And then I had a follow-up appointment with her, and I wasn't sure how I was going to go, but obviously it was a good sign she was letting me come back. So I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And we had a great conversation, and at the end of it, she still hadn't said anything about other realtors, and I was like, where do we stand with things? And so I was like, so how are you feeling about things? I know you said you're interviewing other realtors, and I don't like to, like I said, I'm not a forceful person, and so I just try to make this casual conversation but get an idea of where we're at with things. And she was like, I am talking to, or I had been talking to another realtor, but he's older, and yes, he's successful, he's done a lot of deals, but you're motivated and you're hungry, and I can tell you want to make sales happen, whereas with him it's not the case. And I'm like, finally, like, I feel like I was just nervous for a while to show that I didn't want people to think I'm so hungry that I was like desperate for a deal, but I
Right.
think also hiding that, then people maybe think you're not going to be willing to work as hard for them. So I think it's important to show that you're hungry. I think that's a key thing, is people constantly like, we can tell you like what you do, and we can tell that you are motivated to grow your business.
That's a good.
So
That's a good thing. When I was new, I would tell them, because one of my first listing appointments, I got carded. In my state, you carried around a little license that looked like your license on the wall, but you had to keep it in your
yeah,
wallet. And the woman said to me, "Can I see your license?" I thought she meant my real estate license, so I showed it to
yeah.
her. She goes, "No, I want to see your driver's license." She was like looking
What?
at my age. Yes,
What?
right.
It's like you're
Yes,
not old
yes.
enough to be selling.
She wanted, well, I was 21 at the time. She wanted to make sure I was 21. She didn't think I was 21, which I guess was a
That's
compliment. But anyway, my point is,
yeah,
you won't get tired. But what she said to me was, I feel like what you may lack in experience, you'll make up with an energy and enthusiasm. And I was like, exactly right. And I started using that from that day forward. When I lack
yeah,
experience, and your energy and your enthusiasm jumps out at people, and they can feel it. So that's awesome.
yeah. I love it. That's what I've been thriving on, because it's tough in the beginning. It's tough. You're like, when people are like, how many deals have you done? How, like, and they're looking for all this expertise, and it's hard when you're like, well, you know, I've only had one, you've only had one listing. How are you supposed to show that you should be the realtor they should use? Like, there could be so many
Right.
other people they could use that have had so many other deals under their belt. But yeah, a lot of people are lazy, unfortunately. So it's a good thing for the people who are motivated and hungry to get deals done,
So
because it
true.
makes it
So
stand out.
true.
Yeah.
Good.
Uh,
Awesome.
okay, that's one piece. Another
Yes.
one that I think is huge is the getting in front of your sphere. If Whether it's social media, whether it's hosting events, and not make it not making it just all real estate focused, but have your friends and family come. I just hosted a movie theater event a few weeks ago, and I invited some potential clients and people that I would love to do business with, but I also invited my friends and family that have never done a deal with me. And I think it's important to involve everyone, because you stay top of mind, you're showing value, and when people have fun with you, they also are going to remember you. They're like, oh, that was a good time. And so I just think it's so important to stay in front of the sphere. In the beginning, I felt like I was just going to annoy people, bother people, and I was nervous to kind of just put myself front and center in front of everyone. But then the more I forced myself to do it, because I'm like, how else am I going to get business? And then the more I did it, the more people are like, no, we love seeing you successful. We love seeing you do something that you're so passionate about. And I was getting a very positive response from things where I, in my head, was concerned that I was just going to be annoying people, and they were going to be like, why is she posting so much real estate? Or, why is she messaging me all the time? So I think a lot of what was holding me back was my own self-doubts, instead of just doing what I needed to do. And yeah, and your friends and family are your number one supporters. Like, why would I think that I would annoy them? Like, they obviously want to
Right.
see me happy and successful.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge. And especially because now
That is
I mean,
huge.
moving from Washington State to here, where I didn't even know anyone. And and to have so many referrals coming now, and I don't even see those people in person. They're just seeing it all online and sending them my way, which is super cool.
That's awesome. Very efficient too. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And then my last one, I thought really hard about this. I think is to have fun. I think it sounds very simple, but so many people get so caught up in the grind that they forget like this lifestyle, and being a realtor is an extremely unique lifestyle to have. We have the flexibility. Yeah, we're on our phone 24/7. There's a lot of, you don't get a break, but then there's also so many unique things about it. It's so fun. You get to see the most amazing houses. You get to meet the coolest people, have the coolest connections. You get to do things for work that people would never even dream of being able to do, right? Most people are stuck behind a computer at a desk, and we get to go out and experience the world. And so I just think it's so important to have fun with it. And people can tell when you enjoy what you do and you have fun with what you do, they want to be involved in that and they want to have fun with you too. And so even just going out to showings and making it fun, and not like it's a, oh, I don't want to go show houses. Like, make it a fun day and be excited about it. And I think that really helps uplift the mood too and get people more involved in your career and your life as well.
I agree 100%. And it's a joy watching you keep climbing the ladder, Olivia. You're doing incredibly awesome. You're having a blast doing it. You're making great money. All right. Your enthusiasm is contagious too. So keep up the great work. It really is.
Thank you.
It
Thank you.
really
It's
is.
been very fun. It's a very exciting time. It's, yeah, it's a lot.
I love
It's
it.
overwhelming, but it's thrilling.
It's good overwhelming, and you can tell. I mean, your
Yeah.
smile, you're having a blast. You know, it becomes more fun when you start closing deals, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I could take a little vacation. And then when you
You
go on
should.
vacation, you get more clients because people always reach out when you're gone. So that's how it
Yeah.
works.
It's so true. It's so true. And it's, you know what? It's a universal message too. When you take vacations and you take weekends off once in a while, you know, you're telling the universe, I'm confident in what I'm doing, so I don't have to overdo it. And as a matter of fact,
Yeah,
rest is a big part of it. Any final words you want to leave these lovely people?
I think that's it. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
having me, Rick. This is so fun.
Well, you are a blast, Olivia. And I know that Veronica has nothing but wonderful things to say about you, your manager. So keep up the great work. You're doing incredibly well. A joy to be around. And we love having you here. So thanks for taking your time out.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
Bye.